Well, new week, a new opponent, so getting ready to start practicing, preparing for UT San Antonio. Well into preparations on them, and very impressed with a team that we thought would be pretty good coming into the season. You look at them on film, veteran football team, mostly seniors with 2 deep across the board. 7th-year quarterback, Frank Harris, and got a chance to meet him this summer. Very impressive young man. Just kind of a guy that charismatic, carries himself really well. I would imagine probably really a positive leader there in that locker room. Got a chance to know Coach Traylor over the last year or so, and just a solid guy and a really good football coach. So great challenge down there in San Antonio. They have a very passionate fan base. It'll be a loud atmosphere in the dome down there, and a tremendous challenge for our roster. So the kids are motivated to get back on the winning track and motivated to get down there and compete at a high level. Obviously disappointed in the outcome of the game Saturday, and just a very close game that we just did not make the plays when we had the opportunities in order to get the win. But the players are motivated to get that corrected, and so are the coaches. So we'll be back at it this afternoon. Questions?
Coach, you talked about the guys pressing and trying so hard to do well. Is this a chance maybe to get away from everything and maybe just take a deep breath, relax? You're on the road like the old Little Holtz commercials, or on the road and just go after it.
Well, I hopefully the thing I really want to see the kids do, and it was my message to the coaching staff this morning, is just stay true to who we want to be, stay true to who I know the kids want to be. Do things the right way, prepare the right way, and we want to go down there and play the way all of us expect the Pirates to play. And it's going to be a very physical ball game. It's going to be 2 teams that play really hard. Obviously, we've got to do some better things execution-wise. We're going to do a great job this week preparing the kids for that. But the big thing for the players, I just want them to go out there and play the game the way we know we want to play it.
Coach, a few days to review the Charlotte game. What did you see on film offensively that kind of led to some inconsistencies, the struggles?
Well, I mean, it's not just necessarily one thing. I mean, at times we had some positive plays. We had some things that we did well. I think that probably the biggest thing that keeps biting us is consistency. I do think that they are a very good defensive football team. I said that last week when we were sitting here. In our press conference, I think they've got great talent. I think they play their scheme very well, and they've done that all year against a really tough schedule. So, those are the kinds of teams we've got to execute really well against. And having a positive play on first down, and then not doing a great job execution-wise on second down, putting you in a 3rd and long. That's the consistency I'm talking about. And so we've got to. Whether you're talking about the offensive line, the quarterbacks, the receivers, whomever you're talking about, we've got to be more consistent with our execution, play in and play out, in order to drive the football.
Conrad had been pretty solid until those misses on Saturday. After talking to him, looking at it, was that him? Was it an operational issue? What happened with the field goals?
It's the issue was his plant foot. And follow through. Just off just a little bit. I do think that that's something he'll learn from. Whether it's the first kick or the second kick, I have a lot of confidence in him. He has created that confidence by his performance day in and day out in practice and in ball games. I think he has tremendous talent. I would not hesitate to try him out there in any situation this week. So I think he's a competitor, and that's the thing I really like about him is he gets motivated. He doesn't get in his head. He gets motivated, to perform well, and takes a lot of pride in that for the team. So I expect him to learn from those 2 kicks, and to go out and do a great job this week and be ready to go on Saturday.
Coach Harris is very mobile as the quarterback was last week. What do you think your defense did well stopping his mobility, and what do you think they need to improve on heading into this week?
He is very mobile. Obviously Jones was a dynamic athlete last week. I think we'll see some things maybe that we saw last week. I don't think we'll see everything that we saw last week. They certainly run their scheme very well. San Antonio does. The big thing I think from him is you're facing a guy that you think about. This is his 7th year of college football, and he's battled through a lot of adversity. He's had a couple of years of pretty significant injuries. Then he's had, he's on probably his 3rd straight year of being highly successful. He missed a little bit of time this year injury-wise. But my point is he's seen a lot and has tremendous experience. When you're facing a quarterback like that, their decision-making, when you're this kind of player, your decision-making is really good. He sees the game at a slower pace than a younger quarterback does. And so his experience is going to be a major factor. So I do think that we're going to have to do a great job defending some of the RPO stuff. I think we're going to have to do a great job of defending him, both throwing it and running it. So I think that some of the things that we struggled with Saturday, we spent time Sunday night. It wasn't like we hadn't seen it before, but it was we weren't as disciplined as we needed to be to shut it down. And so we spent some time Sunday night, working against that stuff, because if I'm Coach Traylor, I'm going to incorporate a few of those things into my game plan this week. And so we expect to see a few things and try to prepare for that this week.
Coach, you get into these latter days of the season, kind of the dog days, so to speak, and most coaches go to a lot of youth to try and give some new energy to one of the sides of the ball. Could we see that this week with some Sam Dank on defense, or maybe some Brock Spalding more on offense?
I mean, I think you get to this point in the year, you're playing a lot of guys, and certainly Sam and Brock have played at certain points throughout the year, and those guys are guys that we're certainly depending on for the future. So I think you could see those guys, at certain times and more as the season winds on. I think that you start getting bumps and bruises, and so certainly then your depth really comes into play, and so that's when you see a lot of younger guys get on the field, whether it be on special teams, offense, or defense.
Coach, what are some of the things you do to prepare for the Dome, for the Alamo Dome, as far as that goes? If you haven't been there, I heard you talking about it a little bit last night, but some of the things you prepare this week, and then when you get to the field on Saturday.
Well, you can't truly prepare for being inside because we don't have a space that's indoors. So, we'll try to create as much noise as we can for the offense to try to, mimic what's going to be a very loud environment. That's what we did when we played in the Fargo Dome up at North Dakota State. And then, you really stress your communication. Your communication has to be visual and verbal. Everybody has to really focus, making sure everybody's got the call and everybody's communication is clean. And then, we'll try to get there a little bit early for kickoff on Saturday and give our, kickers, punters, returners, receivers, all those guys a chance to just, optically go in there and catch balls and kicks and punts and stuff indoors. And, by the time we get through with the early warm-up stuff, they should be fine.
Talked about young players a moment ago. We saw Raheem Jeter get his feet wet when the game was in hand against Gardner-Webb.
Right.
Any plans do you foresee him getting in any more this season?
Oh yeah, absolutely. With a lot of those guys in that freshman class, which we really like that class, you want to try to get them, playing time anytime you can. Now you want to, if it's the right situation, which you're trying to, you want to protect the red shirt. Unless they're playing a lot. If they're playing a lot, then that makes sense to use them a lot. So, you hope to get him in for 4 games, and you hope to get him some snaps under his belt. Obviously, he's improved a good bit since the spring, and he'll continue to improve, being a true freshman.
Coach, after the game, y'all have done a lot of different things offensively, and if you would look at changing play calling duties at all, just to try to spark something. A few days after the game, you feel like that's not the answer right now?
Well, I've watched the game multiple times by now. I've watched it very closely from a standpoint of watching the play call, watching the defensive call, knowing what is supposed to happen with the play call, and, you know, seeing where, you know, the issues are. And, you know, I'm going to do whatever is best to give the Pirates the best opportunity to win on game day. And, you know, right now we need to coach better during the week as far as it comes to execution, and we need to execute the plays that are called better. And that's on us as coaches to prepare the players better. And so, you know, right now that's my focus. But you know, I'm not happy with where our record is. I'm not happy with the way we're playing. And I know that we've got to put points on the board. I know we've got to, you know, play more consistent offensively. You know, so I'm going to always be evaluating every aspect and do, you know, what is best to give the Pirates the best opportunity to be highly successful on game day. And that's where we are.
Coach, obviously Bond didn't play last week, and we've seen
Right.
him kind of progressing. So just an overall health update on Bond and some of the other players who are banged up.
Javis is close. You know, he ran yesterday. Hoping to have him back quickly, but that's just kind of where we are with him.
In the beginning part of the season, even the preseason, you know, there was talk of the running back room as being one of the strengths of this team. And I know you guys have dealt a bad hand with some injuries there too, but is there some belief that that group can kind of get to that spot again and just be that unit you can count on?
Yeah, and I think, you know, you saw Marlon's back healthy now. Camaro has, you know, shown himself the last few weeks. You know, Rajay's been kind of steady, you know, there every game. Gerald Green is going to practice full speed today, so it's good to have him back from injury. So, you know, we have had a little bit of you know, injury bug in that room, but, you know, we still have a very solid room right there. And, you know, we got to do a great job of getting those guys going, you know, whether it's in the run game or the passing game. And, you know, they all are working very hard and very driven. And so, you know, looking forward to having a great week of practice with that group this week.
I noticed there's been a few different combinations on the offensive line. When you get into your competition periods, is it usually the same 5 guys each period for competition during a week, or do you guys kind of mix that up?
Well, you know, when we go to the competition periods, you're going to have, you know, 2 different lineups. And within those lineups, you may shuffle guys, you know, for, you know, between 1s and 2s. You know, I said at the beginning of the year, you know, ideally we want to play, you know, probably 8 guys on the offensive line. You know, we've just struggled to have enough guys playing at a consistent level in practice to go out on game day. Now we've started to have a couple of guys come on a little bit more here lately, and obviously we played I think 8 offensive linemen on Saturday. A couple of really young guys, you know, a couple of players that maybe you know, weren't ready to go at the beginning of the year that, you know, are ready to go now. So you know, as with every position, you know, practice during the week really, you know, trumps everything. You know, the players go out there and they compete. We're going to, you know, put the players on the field to give us the best chance to be successful. And certainly there were some positive things that we saw with you know, some of the guys that came into the lineup on Saturday that gave us you know, a chance there in the second half. And then, you know, some of the guys that maybe had struggles in the first half are very motivated to get things corrected this week. So I think there'll be good competition.
Dontavius Nash played as much as he has since he came in. Played well, seemingly. And I know you are a little banged up at safety. What did you think of his performance and getting a shot and making the most of it?
I thought for the most part he played well, and you know, he has played better and better as the season has gone on. He's tackling better. He has great ball skills, plays the ball well in the air. So I thought he did a solid job on Saturday. And I thought, you know, Julius, you know, had one of his best games of the year, and you know, Julius has played pretty well, you know, for the bulk of the season. I mean, I think he's the one that's played better and better, and is playing at a pretty high level right now. So was fairly pleased with our safety play on Saturday.
Coach, guy not maybe by the numbers, but that just kind of said flash into my video was Chad Stevens. He's really been a force up front for the last few weeks. So can you just touch on his play and what he brings for you guys?
I think Chad's having a very solid year. He leads us in tackles for a loss. You know, Chad has the ability to be very disruptive, and I think, you know, when Chad is playing disciplined and really, you know, playing within the scheme, he can be highly disruptive. And that's the big challenge for him is to, keep, play discipline within the scheme, because with his hat speed, and how quick he is getting off the ball, and he's a tough, hard-nosed kid, and plays very, very hard. He has a chance to impact the ball game when he's doing those things.
Coach, another week we saw both quarterbacks in different situations. Should we expect something similar to that this weekend? Or I know you can't give too much away, but just a thought on how that's going.
Right. Well, as I've said, for the last couple of weeks, really I want to see us play with more consistency. And I think that's the key for those two guys. And, both of them have some strengths, and both of them have some things they need to improve on. And so, what we're trying to do is to continue to help them to come along and take advantage of their strengths, and to continue to learn from their experiences. And so, look forward to a great week of practice with those guys this week.
I know during the bye week, you're at high school football games, you're recruiting, you're bringing in visits, and it never stops. How tough is it during a season when you're not winning? You can always go back to past success, obviously, but what are those conversations like in recruiting in seasons like this?
Well, we continue to talk to recruits about the things that we sell in East Carolina University, and the first thing is the passionate fan base that we have, and we're very fortunate. Last Saturday was another great representative of that, in that football is important here, and certainly we're very transparent with this is not where we expect the program to be at from a one-loss level, but at the same time, we do expect to be highly competitive week in and week out. The thing is, most of these recruits have been here the past couple of years. Most of them have been recruiting for a while, so they've seen the postseason play, they've seen winning at a high level, and they know what potential here there is in East Carolina. So, those are the things that we really hang our hat on. Is what traditionally, through over time, East Carolina has been.
Any other questions for Coach? Thank you, Coach.